When I first saw her, she was standing in the break room at work, pouring herself a cup of coffee. Her name was Ava, and she had the kind of smile that could make you forget every bad thing that ever happened to you. I froze, holding my notebook against my chest, because it was one of those moments you don't expect, like the world had stopped just to make sure I noticed her. I wasn't even looking for someone. After all, I'd have been burned before, and my heart was exactly in the mood to get stitched back together again. But then Ava turned her head, caught me staring, and smiled. Just like that, something inside me cracked open. The next day, I made an excuse to sit with her during lunch. She was easy to talk to, funny, sharp, the kind of person who made you feel like you mattered just by listening. But then halfway through our conversation, she leaned back, rested her hand on her stomach, and laughed. That's when I noticed she wasn't just glowing, she was pregnant. My heart stumbled. She saw my eyes flicker and didn't hesitate. Yeah, I'm due in a few months. It's complicated, but I'm doing this on my own. I didn't know what to say. On one hand, she was literally everything I had ever wanted. Smart, kind, beautiful. On the other, she was about to become a mother and me. I couldn't even keep a houseplant alive. That night, I lay awake asking myself why I cared so much. She was just a coworker. I barely knew her, and yet the thought of her raising a child alone made my chest ache. The days turned into weeks, and we grew closer. She started waiting for me by the elevator. I found myself sneaking extra muffins from the cafe just to see her laugh when I handed them to her. She told me stories about painting the nursery, about the tiny socks she'd bought that made her cry in the middle of the store. The more she talked, the more I realized I wasn't scared of her being pregnant. I was scared of how much I wanted her. Despite it, one Friday evening, after we stayed late finishing a project, she offered me a ride home. We sat in her car, neither of us moving, the night heavy with silence. Then she whispered, "You're the only one who makes me feel like I'm not broken." I turned, startled. "Ava, you're not broken. You're stronger than anyone I know." Her eyes shimmered in the dark, and for a second I swore she might kiss me. But instead she shook her head, smiled sadly, and started the car. That night I realized I was falling in love with someone who already had a future waiting in her arms. It wasn't easy. People whispered at work about me, about her, about the way we laughed too much together. Some said I was wasting my time. Others said she'd never have room for me, not with a baby on the way. But every time I thought about walking away, I remembered the way she looked at me, like I was more than just a friend, more than just someone filling the silence. The turning point came one stormy night. She called me, her voice trembling, saying the baby was kicking harder than usual and she was scared. I didn't think, I just drove. I held her hand through every breath, every tear, until finally she laughed again, whispering, "You're really here." I squeezed her hand. "I'm not going anywhere." From that night on, we stopped pretending. She started leaning her head on my shoulder during breaks. I started dreaming of a life that wasn't just mine anymore. And when her baby girl was finally born, I was there holding Ava's hand, crying harder than I ever had in my life. People told me I was crazy for falling in love with someone who came as a package deal. But the truth, that package deal turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Ava wasn't just everything I wanted, she was everything I needed. And her daughter, she became part of my heart the second I laid eyes on her. Love doesn't always come wrapped the way we expect. Sometimes it comes with diapers and midnight cries, but if it's real, you'll take it all. And I did because she was worth it. When I first saw her, I knew there was trouble brewing. Her name was Reina, and Trouble was her middle name. She had this wild mane of red hair, a nose ring, tattoos peeking from under her ripped jeans. She was trouble in Doc Martens, and I was in love before she even looked my way. Anya was everything. I wasn't fearless, spontaneous, a walking middle finger to the world. She lived for the moment, for the music blaring in her beat-up old Jeep, for the way a sunset looked like spilled gasoline on a rusty swing set. Me? I liked the safe, predictable hum of my little town, the routine of my job, the steady climb of my savings account. So why did I fall for her? Maybe because the way she chased waterfalls reminded me of the girl I used to be before life handed me responsibilities like they were candy. Or maybe it was because the more reckless she was, the more my walls crumbled. We met at the Blue Moon, a dive bar that smelled like stale beer and regret. I was celebrating my best friend's birthday, nursing a drink I didn't want, when suddenly she appeared in front of me, a whirlwind of leather and lace, demanding to know where the party was. By the end of the night, I was dragged into a game of Flip Cup, then roped into a karaoke rendition of Bohemian Rhapsody. When I hit the high notes, Ania pulled me aside, her eyes serious for once. "You," she said, "have fire in your veins. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise." I stared back, confused. Then she grinned, that familiar mischievous glint returning. "Come on, slowpoke. Let's go find some adventure." And I did. We spent the summer chasing sunsets, swimming in lakes, stealing kissies, under the stars. With her, I learned to fly. Literally, our first date was at the county fair. I won a giant panda. She won a goldfish. Then we raced to the tilt-a-whirl, screamed on the Ferris wheel, and later made out in the back of her Jeep while Bon Jovi blared on the radio. It was exhilarating. It was terrifying. It was everything I never knew I wanted. But there was a storm brewing in her eyes. Every time I touched her, she flinched. Every kiss was a battle. Every smile was a victory. I asked her once, "What's your favorite song?" She looked at me then, a million miles away. The one that always gets stuck in my head is Losing My Religion by REM. Do you ever feel like you're in love with someone who doesn't really exist? I did. Her past was written on her skin, carved in the tight set of her jaw, the way she flinched at sudden movements, the tremor in her hands. When I asked about the tattoo on her wrist, she told me it was a reminder to breathe. I wish she'd breathed more. Wish she'd let me in more. But she was a puzzle I couldn't solve, a mystery I couldn't unravel. Then one night she left. No note, no goodbye, just a slammed door and a one-way ticket to heartache. I searched for her everywhere, calling her name until my throat was raw. Finally, I found her at the edge of town, hitchhiking, with a duffel bag by her side. I ran to her, desperate to make her stay. But when she turned, her eyes were empty sockets, her touch a branding iron burning my skin. "Don't touch me," she whispered, her voice hollow. "I'm not her. Not anymore." She disappeared into the city, leaving me with nothing but questions and the echo of her laughter in my ears. They say some people come into your life as a detour, not a destination. I wish that was true for her. But the road I'm on leads straight to the graveyard where the wild roses grow. I haven't moved on because a part of me never left. And if I had a choice, I'd still choose the detours, the heartaches, and the restless nights. Because in the grand tapestry of life, the threads of our brief encounter are woven into the fabric of my soul. I may not have her, but I'm forever grateful for the journey we shared.